Hi everyone, welcome back to SAFC Live. Well, we weren't expecting that second half, Danny, were we? After the treat we had in the couple of treats in the first half as well.
Yeah, no, I thought the first half was the best we've played for a while. You know, the 2 points we picked up on the road, as I just said there, we weren't quite at it, and you take your points when you're not quite at your best. And then you come back up here this afternoon, and that first sort of 35 minutes, didn't we start too well? And then we got into the game. Once we scored the first goal, you could see the confidence in the lads, the passing, the movement, pace, energy, everything was there from us. And then you go in 2-0 up and you're thinking, come out second. I said, go and try and get that third goal. And it felt like we just sat back from the start of the second half, and almost it was just going through the motions as if like we've won the game, just take our foot off like we did perhaps against Oxford. But Coventry are probably a better team than Oxford. Even at this moment in time, they're having a difficult spell and they've just lost their manager. But they've got players like Hadji Wright that can hurt you. And as soon as they got back into it, I said, this is a big 20 minutes for us, this. And then obviously they go on and get that second. We did have a couple of opportunities on the counter, but we just got a little bit deep. You get a little bit nervy, and you could feel it in the crowd as well. And then, yeah, as we just said there at the end of the game, it feels like that feels like a defeat, and it's certainly 2 points dropped.
Yes, still undefeated in 8 though.
Yeah, again, there's positives to take from it. Well, the clean sheets have come to an end, haven't they? But when you're 2-0 up, you're the league leaders. You're 2-0 up at home. You've just come off the back of 2 clean sheets on the road as well. And you're in a commanding position like we were against the side. Yeah, I said they've got players like Hadji Wright, 1 or 2 others that can hurt you. But they're obviously having a difficult season. They'd lost half of their games, 7 out of 14 prior to coming up here this afternoon. And you feel like, yes, the game is won, but 2-0 is one of those scorelines everybody says, don't they? It's a dangerous scoreline to be at, and you're comfortable and out of nothing. And we're unfortunate. We'll have a look at the goals, but it just drops there. Dan Neil almost gives a foul away. It drops. Alan Brown just toe pokes it, unfortunate.
Let's play the action from the game then, and we'll get around to
it.
That moment in particular, Danny. So we'll look through the highlights now if we can. Here they come. Yeah, unbelievable first half from Sunderland. Really passing it around well. You get everyone maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10 in that first half.
Yeah, and I said it feels like, you know, a 3-game week, and we've had 2 trips on the road as well. So you're away, you're back, you're away. You know, it's a lot of travelling involved as well as the playing. And you think, oh, you're going to be leggy, but you know, most of these boys played in that one, and then we look sharp from here on in. Look, we've moved the ball well. We're finding pockets of space. Dennis driving forward here now, just plays it out wide, and then Romain just goes through the gears. Look, little give and go there with Alan Brown into his path, first time cross. And a lovely little finish, and that's what we're all about, and we've seen moments like that so far this season. It hasn't quite been there in recent weeks, if we're honest. We've dug some results out, to be fair, but then once we scored this goal here,
I could watch that all day, Danny.
Yeah,
that is
fantastic.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, just everything clicks, doesn't it? It's sort of the type of move that you work on these in training, unopposed at times, really. You have the mannequins placed, and you just go through them, little link-up play, and you think, oh, that's a lovely goal, and then when you see it happen on a match day, you know, you say credit to the coaching staff and the players themselves. But it was a fantastic goal, and say Wilson's scored a few now, hasn't he? It's 5 for the season, I think it is, and he scored 2 or 3 exceptional goals as well. But yeah, you can just see it from that point in. It's almost as if it just sparked the boys, and you can see there was a bit of life back in us from where we were a few weeks ago, really. And it seems strange saying it, because yes, we're still top of the table, but you know, when you've only picked 3 points out of possible 9 this week, you know, it feels like a bit of a low point, doesn't it? But here we go, is the second goal now. Yeah, Trey with a challenge, isn't it? It's typical Trey Hume into Romain there, just gives it back into Dennis. Dennis could probably pass there now into Wilson Isidore. He's got 4 or 5 blue shirts around him, but it just opens it up there, yard, and then bang, crunching finish. No chance for the goal. It's past him before he can dive, really, isn't it?
Just the power he generates.
Yeah. It's just not much backlift on it, really. It's just under his foot, really.
Carlos Edwards style.
Yeah, Carlos, wasn't it? Burnley back here all those years ago as well. And I was astonished. I had my hands on my head myself, really, and looking around at all the fans, and you said it was almost like there was a
different noise.
A bit of silence from the crowd for 2 seconds as the ball hit the back of the net. But yeah, you couldn't argue at that point. We probably deserved the 2-goal lead, and then we still had more moments and opportunities in the remainder of the half. But we're into the second half now, and then just Coventry. It was a combination of Coventry sort of settling in and getting a few touches on the ball, but we allowed it. I felt we sat a little bit deeper, but we still had moments on the counter-attack. Here's one now, Romain, trying to open himself up and find the far corner, just gets it wrong. Connection isn't right off his boot. And there's Coventry now, so we tried to clip it long. Just see here now, look at us there, where first half we had the energy, we were pressing, but it's just too easy. There's just there, look, getting in wrong side now. Dan Neil, ref actually plays a good advantage. You could have given the free kick. And as I said, Alan Brown's unfortunate. It almost sort of hits him really and just pokes it, doesn't he, into the path of Adji Wright. Luke can't get there on the slide. Simon Moore maybe gambles, thinking he's going to go across him far corner. He waits to that right hand side and he just rolls it into that near post area, and then bang, they're right back into it. Their tails are up and thinking, do you know what, we're only a goal behind now, let's go again. And especially here at the stadium where it does go quiet naturally when you go when the opposition have scored and they're back into the game, and you can get a little bit nervy. But again, we're still having little moments, even though we weren't great in the second half. We're having moments and opportunities on the counter attack.
Good save there.
Yeah, Simon Moore, yes.
That's Mundell just pulling up there.
Yeah, like this one now. If Wilson nicks this past him, around him, then he's into, again, to get us 3-1 back in front, isn't he? And then all of a sudden, look at that there, we're picking up 2 injuries straight away in the same incident with a couple of changes, and it throws you off. And then we've had to change it there. So Connolly comes on through the middle, Wilson goes out to the left-hand side, and he had a couple of opportunities himself. Aaron coming off the bench. And there's their second goal now. Again, look at us. Sitting in deep. It's almost like we were at Queen's Park Rangers last week when we've gone down to 10 men, and you do invite it. We got away with it a little bit last week, we got away with it a little bit at Preston. We don't get away with it today. We've made a change at the back, and I thought Dennis was actually decent today, and it strike alone, but there, don't know whether he gets a bit squared up, but yeah, he does actually. His body, he's not opened himself up there. He does know Radoni's coming on his shoulder, and he just waits there, and Radoni gets the run on him. He's probably 6 foot himself, Radoni there. And he just gets above Dennis, powers it in. No chance for Simon Moore, and you see the reaction from the Coventry players. And, credit to them. They dug in, they had to go second half, didn't they? But, yeah, from our point of view, it's a massive blow.
Let's have a look around at the scores then. See how all this affects the championship. There was a game last night, and there was some early kickoffs as well. That's been reflected at the top. In the Watford game, 1-0 to them last night. In the midday kickoffs, or lunchtime kickoffs, Cardiff City 1, Blackburn Rovers 3, Middlesbrough 5, Luton 1, Stoke City 1, Millwall 1. That's where Sunderland go next, of course. In the games in the 3 o'clocks, Derby County 1, Plymouth Argyle 1, Leeds United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Norwich City 0, Bristol City 2, Portsmouth 3, Preston North End 1. You know all about our game, and those games are tomorrow at the bottom of the fixture list there. Let's see the league table then. Sunderland, well, they're still top of the league. Leeds United and Sheffield United below them, because Sheffield United play in the Sheffield derby tomorrow.
Yeah, can go level on points with us. Goal difference there, we're +3 on them, aren't we? So, but yeah, it's just got tighter, and you're still a couple of points on Leeds, aren't you? But it does feel disappointing. But it's a strange one, as we say there. Saturday night when you're seeing the scores come in the table, you see the league table, you think we should be delighted, but it's a hard one to take, isn't it, after the position we were in at the break.
Let's have a look at the bottom of the table then. Queen's Park Rangers defeated this afternoon. They're rock bottom. Cardiff down there, as well as Portsmouth at the moment. Luton struggling. Yeah,
he's got to be under pressure, Rob, as good as he's been the last couple of seasons, getting them promoted. And they had a good go last year, didn't they? And everybody expected them to be, certainly not in that position, up the other end of the table, competing to go back up. But it's been a tricky well, it's not even a start now, is it? It's 15 games in, so it's a tricky period for him, yeah.
Okay then. What should we do next? Should we have a look around at some of the supporters' thoughts? Because I bet they're scratching their heads after that second half. Let's have a look at one of the hashtags then, if we can, in the post-game programme. Here it comes. And someone's been in touch, said, what has impressed you most with Sunderland so far this season, Danny?
Yeah, it's good to start with a positive one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, well, go for clean sheets. Was it 9 out of 15 now? I know obviously we've leaked a couple of goals today, but in general, clean sheets have been good. Lads at the back, excellent. Luke O'Nien and Chris Mepham alongside have been fantastic. Full-backs getting forward when they can. Obviously, Trey's going to be suspended now.
What do you do there?
It's a good question. I think naturally, I don't think we've got a natural replacement on the bench in terms of right-back. It's ideal that Dan Ballard's come back in and got a little bit of game time, because I think he'll probably move Luke to right back. He could go with the back 3, but he might move Luke to right back, and then you've got obviously Dan Ballard and Chris Mepham in the middle, Dennis at left back. Probably that, I'd imagine. But yeah, he may go with the 3. We'll have to wait and look. But other positives, listen, we're top of the table. We've scored 25 goals. I think that's the most goals in the league still. a lot of individual positives as well. Joe's been fantastic. Obviously, we've missed him a little bit as well, certainly, obviously, with his suspension. Romain Mundle coming in after Jack Clark left. Been fantastic. Got himself, what, 4 goals, I think he's on as well. Mienda was starting to get going before his injury. Wilson Isidore, been a great signing, 5 goals so far. A lot of positives to take out of that, and obviously, you know, Chris Riggin there getting game time. I think he's got 3 goals as well. So everybody's contributing. Yep. There's a lot of positives out there at this moment in time as well. And we're obviously top of the table for a reason.
Let's have a look at another thought then on the hashtags. Graham's been in touch. If possible, do you think we should sign Isidore in January?
Well, absolutely. If you can get him, yeah. I don't see why not. I think you know, he had to obviously wait and bide his time to get in after he came in. But once he's been out there,
it's a season-long loan, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I think if the opportunity's there, you go and get him. I think so. Yeah, I go back to when he come on at Portsmouth. He only had 15-20 minutes, but he took a couple of balls down there. Just the way he moved, I thought, yeah, this lad looks like a bit of a player. Yeah. And well, he hasn't let me down since then. His goal today, his goal against Hull, different types of goals. I said, you know, I think he doesn't mind playing off the left. I like him through the middle. Yeah. I think maybe sometimes we don't really play with 2 up top, do we? And I said there, maybe bringing Aaron Connolly up there alongside him. Yeah, give, you know, 2 up top, and you're tweaking your formation a little bit. But no, I'd certainly, you know, there's a lot of positives to take in. Wilson Isidore is one I'd certainly, if you could get him, go and get him. Okay,
next one then, please. Here on the post-game programme here on SAFC Live, Chris has been in touch. Is Dennis Serkin's goal the hardest hit ball you've seen since Tony Abore's iconic strike in the 90s? A wonderful left-back who can graft and make intelligent overlapping runs. Is Serkin another £20 million valued player? I have it as 4 in our current starting 11. Thank you, Chris.
Chris getting the price tags on the lads there, isn't he? Yeah, so his goal, I go back to probably Kieran Richardson's free kick against Newcastle here, which was, I think it was 20-year-old, not long ago, wasn't it? That was some strike, probably from, what, 20 yards, right edge of the box. That was a hell of a strike. That I was right behind it on the halfway line when it flew past Shay Given. But no, Dennis's strike today was, yeah, it was immense, wasn't it? Nowhere to go, really. As I said, 3 or 4 blue shirts around him. Could have squeezed the pass out to Isidore, but just shifted it a yard and bang. Past the keeper before he knew it. So great strike. Done about price tags there, Dennis. You know, prices now what people are willing to pay, aren't they? Yeah. You know, I think you look at Jack's fee and what Jack went for, and maybe 1 or 2 think he went for a little bit lower than perhaps what he should have gone for. But it's what people are willing to pay. But yeah, I know he's obviously referring to 4 maybe squad players at this moment in time who he's feeling a 20 million plus. I was going to say 20 grand there.
20, how much you're worth now.
20 million plus. Yeah, obviously there's Chris Rigg, there's Joe. You don't want to start naming names. There's a squad there full of young talent. And obviously when you sat top of the table, guaranteed there will have been scouts from clubs here watching today. They'll have been watching them for months, keeping tabs on their progress. But obviously from our point of view, we don't want to see him leaving too soon, certainly not in January. If we're in this position, and obviously kicking on, looking to get promoted, you want your young talent to remain here. And if we do go up, it'd be good to see them growing with the club as well and getting their opportunity in the Premier League. Yeah. Listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if we did get up and go to the Premier League, you want to see the young players being a part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at what will be the last one. From Justin, watching in Toronto with the NASA branch. The squad's looking a bit thin, he says, particularly in midfield against Millwall. With suspensions and injuries, should RLB consider a change of formation? Well, it might be pushed to it.
Yeah, looking thin. I think Alexis was on the bench again, wasn't he, today? Yep. I was thinking it could have been a straight swap there. He opted to bring Dan Ballard on and drop to a back 5. Again, the fans will be looking at that now, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. And obviously we've conceded since we did. I don't think it was anything to do with the shapes, just the fact that Radoni just got above Dennis at the far post. That shape didn't play any factor in that for me. But yeah, I'm thinking if Alan Brown is injured, didn't look too good. He tried to continue, had to come straight off. You've got Alexis on there. Obviously, you know, Job, yes, he's still suspended, but I wouldn't be getting too ahead of us in terms of having to look to change the formation too much. But obviously talking at the back, if Trey is now suspended, then yeah, I'd probably look at moving Luke across one. And then you've got Mepham and Ballard and Serkin, keep it as a back 4. Otherwise, you know, if you go into a 3 and you're having to work on it a little bit, and it is a different, you know, in terms of working from the training ground, not just over 2 days, right lads, we're going to a back 5, this is how we're going to do it. So I'd keep it as a 4, and then maybe, yes, if you want to change it ahead of it, I've just mentioned there, maybe we look at going with the 2 up top, Mienda there, Connolly, you know, Isidore, 2 of those 3 really. You can tweak it in other areas of the pitch as well. You know, 4-4-2. I know it's a bit frowned upon these days. It's a bit old school for a lot of people. But if you've got the personnel there, what shape do you go with to suit the personnel? And a 4-4-2 for me at this moment in time could do the job as well.
Okay, Danny. That's the end of the hashtags. Let's have a look where Sunderland go next. There is an international break. I'm sure a lot of people will be glad of that. It's been a pretty frantic couple of weeks. And it's Millwall, the Den, where Sunderland go next. And they've been doing all right of late, Millwall as well. 3 p.m. kickoff on the 23rd of November. And here we are sat on the 9th. So a little while.
Yeah, I was going to say enjoy your break, but it's a little bit difficult to take after that, isn't it? But
hopefully those injuries we saw go down, particularly Alan Brown, you'd expect will be back for that. It looked like a contact injury. I mean, Mundell went down off the ball. That's a bit more concerning, isn't it? Yeah,
sometimes you say, oh, it's coming at the wrong time, the international break, it's hindered us. I think it's a good time now, as you say there, with a couple of injuries.
Adji can't be far away. Samed was rumoured to be late November as well.
I was going to say Dan Ballard's back, but I think he's obviously in the Northern Ireland squad as well, isn't he? So he may go away and get a bit of game time there.
Job will be getting game time in the England under-21s, which is good.
Yeah,
keep him ticking over.
1 or 2 are ticking over. As you say, with Alan there, if he gets a bit of a rest, hopefully he'll be okay to get going at Millwall as well, So I don't think as that last question come in there, we're a little bit thin, but hopefully, as you say, if Alan's back there, we've still got 1 or 2 sort of midfielders on the bench as well, really. So it's not doom and gloom just going into this international break yet.
Nope, we are going into the international break, top of the league still, and Sunderland unbeaten in 8. That's how I'm going to dress it up, Danny. We should all enjoy that. Okay, then, we will be back after the international break here on SAFC Live. We'll see you soon.